Hi everybody, I'm gonna spill the tea. I'm not, because it's gonna scald me, but I'm gonna spill the tea on what it's actually like to be a lawyer and what people didn't tell you about being a lawyer and being a law student and all that jazz. Stay tuned. The first one is, if you don't like reading, you need to get out now. Seriously, you gotta run for the hills. I remember when I was training to be a solicitor, I didn't read any books that weren't law books, and it was because I couldn't bring myself to read words anymore, and I just turned to videos for solace. I'm seriously telling you, when your job is reading and arranging words, you will find that the books you once loved, like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Philip Pullman, any of these like comfort books, well, that's just me, they won't help you anymore. Because you're just going to be so sick of reading. And to be honest with you, I've only started reading properly again in the last few years, since I've come out of the trauma of being, reading like under pressure. I think that's what it is, reading under pressure. So yeah, you got to read under pressure. There is no right answer in law, and if you've seen my first video on how to be a top law student, you'll remember that I spoke about there like not being neat categories of law. There are some broad categories, but it all is like moving parts. It's like, tectonic plates on the globe. They ought to fit together perfectly, but sometimes there's like friction in between them, and sometimes there's just volcanoes. And that's your understanding, is the volcanoes exploding. You're just like, God, I can't take it anymore. So it's, like, I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, but you have the common law, civil law, you have the tort or a contract, you have the equity. There's so many parts to law, and there is no one eureka moment, especially for trainees. But the more and more you do, the more and more it comes together. Third thing is that you actually do need to be detail oriented. And what I mean by this is, you need to have a head for case law. You need to be able to remember case law. You need to make up mnemonics. And that's my personal tip, to remember case law. You need to have your legislation tabbed. You need to be a little bit of an organisation freak, because if you're not, it's just not going to work for you. And then at the same time, you need to be able to put that information aside and have an opinion on it. So it takes a lot of discipline to learn a whole host of information, put it to one side, and then make an opinion on it. Because, as I said in my last video, it's this quantitative, qualitative analysis. You need both. There is no law without opinion, and there is no opinion without law. They both work together. Another one which you're not really taught a lot about, but it kind of comes down to your own personal integrity and also understanding liability, is the fact that people will ask you for legal advice. And if it's outside of your, so for example, if you're in-house like I am, you cannot give legal advice outside of that. Your client is your in-house employer, and you're not able to give legal advice outside that. So sometimes I get people ringing me like, oh, I'm gonna sign up to a lease or something like this, and they're like offering me crazy money, but I can't do it because my client is my employer. If I was a sole practitioner, that would be different. I would have PI insurance, and if I was negligent, or I was my conduct was below the standard of a solicitor's required to be, then that client could sue me, and my PI insurance might cover some of the loss. But other than that, I'm not allowed to give advice. The other thing about law is, okay, a lot of it is really boring, but it is at the heart of society, and you can't deny that. Like, think of all the times today where the law was in your face, you just didn't realise it. Think of road traffic, think of alcohol consumption limits, think of scheduled drugs, think of, and I mean in pharmacies, by the way, think of VAT, think of, the price of groceries and competition, everything. It permeates every area of society, and The other thing as well you have to remember is everybody finds that thing they love. For me, it's financial benchmarks. I just love them. I love the law around it. I don't know why. It's so random, it's so niche, but that's what gets me going, and it's weird, but that's what it's all about. Just a real quick video on some of the things you maybe didn't know about being a lawyer and some of the things you should consider. If you have any questions, let me know. Love making these videos. I'm trying to make them short because I know attention spans these days are short, and I just have to go with it. So thanks for watching. Bye.